And that's pretty much all you have. It's just weird. It's just a weird flex. Like the prized possession of our community. You're accusing them of it's so stupid, but NANI? Dynamite. Last segment. I'm actually low-key hungry. All right, clap it. Last segment. So I often tell people, like, you know, like it just gets more and more difficult to try and articulate this without saying cops are bad, cops are racist, cops are dogs. Like trying to figure out other ways of defining and describe them is becoming more tiring than actually covering them. The Delaware Lacrosse. Okay, let's put this in perspective. You're in Delaware, and no, you're actually in Mississippi. You're from Delaware, and you're in a lacrosse team from an HBCU, and it's an all-black. It's an HBCU, and a majority of the people in the bus are black people. Now, when the bus driver was pulled over for driving in the left lane. The bus driver was just pulled over for driving in the left lane. That was the infraction. He was asked to deboard. He showed all the paperwork. And these officers then proceeded to antagonize and torment and accuse the people who are more educated, more skilled, and will do more in their life than these officers had ever done, period. As young women, they have accomplished more than these officers ever will, and these officers had the nerve to accuse them of that. Let's get into it, shall we?
Jim Crow, when black Americans were taking risks driving through parts of the South. This happened to students from the historically black Delaware State University. Action News reporter Jacqueline Lee has that story.
It all started with a traffic stop on April 20th around 10:30 a.m. The Delaware State women's lacrosse team began their long journey home when officers from the Liberty County Sheriff's Office pulled them over while driving through Georgia. Allegedly, the bus driver was incorrectly driving in the left lane, and officers asked him to step off the bus.
After that, they came on the bus and they told us that they were going to be checking through our luggages. They didn't ask us, they told us.
Sophomore lacrosse player Sydney Anderson.
And I want this photo to kind of resonate. 3 officers searching women's personal items. You don't think these hillbilly fucks had some perverted intention? You don't think that a demographic of people who are known for assaulting women and sexually harassing their own wives don't have an alternative here? This would have been a great situation to have a female officer present or a woman officer do the search. Apparently, they got the dogs to alert, and that's why they were able to search these items. But the question is, what was the premise of even search for? Why would you assume that a group of college athletes who pride themselves on the perfection of their body, putting in good so they get out good, and making sure that there's nothing hindering their physical, mental, social ability to continue to perform that sport, why would you accuse these people? It's not because of a quota system or this. It's because you inherently believe black people are criminal, and that's what you are taught. You are taught that young black people involve themselves with drugs, because you could have said cocaine. You could have said crystal meth. You could have said bath salts, but you said weed because you find that to be easy. And this is a consequence of the war on drugs. They just inherently think that they have it all figured out when they see a black person. You got to smoke weed. This is the fuck shit that we be talking about. Like, these people are animals. You did this to inconvenience them, and did all this not to find anything. And we know that those stupid guard dogs are horrible because they barely get it right anyway. They alert incorrectly 40% of the time. Sorry, 60% of the time. They are inaccurate. I could flip a coin and be more right than those goddamn dogs.
Of the search.
2 to 6 officers, and they brought out their canine, and they started going through our stuff, sniffing our bags, going through our personal hygiene.
And at that point, another player started filming when officers asked players to admit if there were drugs on board.
Because if we find it.
And this is another ploy. This is such a dumb ploy. Officers don't help you. There's no, and I'm happy that they just got out their phones and started recording, because there's no benefit in talking to an officer. Zero. Nothing. You will never gain anything from talking to an officer. So I'm happy that they at least were smart enough to get out their phones and record them. And there's definitely a lawsuit, right, coming?
Guess what? We're not going to be able to help.
Head coach Pamela Jenkins says almost everyone on board was African American and calls the incident racial profiling.
I definitely felt it by the accusatory tone of the police officer. And while talking about narcotics, he went straight to marijuana.
In response to these allegations, Liberty County Sheriff William Bowman says he conducted an internal affairs investigation. He says his officers did everything by the book and also shared this body cam footage. You can hear officers explaining while the bus was initially pulled over for a traffic stop, the officers had a right to bring out their canines and conduct a clear air sniff, which alerted them to the luggage. That is why they searched.
There's no correlation between them checking our personal luggages and violation of traffic, so there was a clear indication of racism.
And the officers did not find anything during that search. Delaware State University's president says he has reached out to officials, including the governor and the AG's office. He says he is exploring legal options.
And, I'll say this. Delaware governor, senator condemns search of college lacrosse team bus in Georgia. Oh, this happened in Georgia. Georgia's had a horrible week. A Democrat, along with the state's congressional delegation, on Tuesday, condemned Georgia's authorities' search of Delaware State University's women lacrosse team bus. I have watched the video of this incident. It's upsetting, concerning, and disappointing. And that's pretty much all you have. It's just weird. It's just a weird flex, like the prized possession of our community. You're accusing them of drugs. It's so stupid, but that's the story. That's the feeling on it. I'm eager to see what will come of this. Hopefully there is a follow-up, but hey, this is another reminder on top of another reminder. Shut the fuck up when police come around. Just shut the fuck up. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. Just shut the fuck up. Any chance you get. You feel me? So, and also knowing your right is super important, because it's kind of actually very impressive to see that none of them were talking, none of them were complaining. They were just like this, and hopefully those ladies get paid. I hope they sue them to the extent that they never have to pay any of the college debt. Clap it. You feel me? That's what we call justice. Like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think, man. This is Identifier named Heero. Y'all take it easy.